Good morning, everybody, and welcome to class. Lovely to see you. And wow, there are a lot of us in the room this morning. Let's start, please, by just having you drop into the chat your name and where you're coming in from. And this is going to serve as the beginning of our conversation. I hope that everybody was able to receive the Anne Lamott article and to read it before class. If not, don't worry, the link is in the chat. Just give us, if you didn't get the article, your name and where you're coming from is fine. Here we are, the chat is populating. Yeah, okay, let's keep it just as introductions by now. Maybe add in what draws you to this class. Yeah. And I'm being asked, can I resend the link, which I can. Just give me a second. I manage my own tech on these calls, so it does take a little longer, for which apologies. Here we are. File, my computer, Anne Lamott, aging. There we go. And that should now be a PDF in the chat. Lovely. Okay, let's just make sure that nobody hears music at this point, right? Good. I'm just gonna close my Apple Music app just in case it interrupts us. Okay, good morning and welcome, and thank you for coming to spend an hour and a half together to talk about things that matter, to conduct a little bit of a conversation around the business of aging. I was at a gathering yesterday, a bat mitzvah gathering, adult b'nai mitzvah, and I was chatting with a friend of one of the candidates, and she'd heard the announcement about this class, and she asked me, so what's the alternative? I mean, do we age unconsciously? And I said, well, yeah, and that's kind of the point of the classes, yeah? That we are being fed. I hadn't come across this formulation in my brain before, but I really like it. So I want to share it with you. In a sentence, what we are being fed about getting older from the culture in which we are immersed is that getting older is a failure. And it isn't. It isn't. Is it a challenge? Yes. Does it require of us that we continue to learn, that we let fall some of the things that we have believed up until now? Yes. Is it a period of change? Yes. Hence the David Bowie at the beginning of the session, always as a bit of a touchstone to bring us in to know that we're entering an era of change. But we have the choice to do it consciously, to address it together and to address it in community. So that's purpose one of these sessions. Purpose one is to draw together this section of the IKAR community. I will share with you, as I always do, that IKAR has now evolved to the stage where 25% of the IKAR community is over the age of 55, making us together an ideal cohort to explore the subject of aging and to help each other decide how we want to hold it and how we want to walk this journey together. So we get together, we explore aspects of aging that matter, that may not be available to us within the culture in which we're generally operating. We add some Jewish wisdom into that. Turns out, and it won't surprise us, that Judaism has what to say about aging, and it's not the same as what, say, Los Angeles has to say about aging. And ultimately, my hope as well with these gatherings is that we become more familiar with each other and we make the big room smaller. Because IKAR is big now. IKAR grew explosively during the COVID years, and it is very, very important that we see each other, that we know each other, and that we have what wisdom to share when we meet each other. Couple of other bits of what Rabbi Artson calls administrivia. We record the collective room, the big room of these sessions. We do not record breakout rooms. So in terms of assessing what you want to be sharing, what you want to share in the chat, as opposed to what you want to share with the people with whom you're going to be in breakout room, I leave it to your wisdom to work out that balance. We record the sessions so that people who, for whatever reason, can't get to them, they're only once a month, can find them on the IKAR YouTube channel. And also so we can spread around that we are a community that is consciously doing this work. All the sessions are the same shape. We start with the article. If you are signed up to the class by Friday evening, I will, or Friday before Shabbat, the last thing I do before Shabbat on a class weekend is to send around the Anne Lamott article that we're going to be looking at. The Anne Lamott, for those of you who don't know, an extraordinary poet who's doing a great deal of exploring of her own aging at the moment and coming up with these conveniently sized short form articles about it that will provide the springboard for our conversation. If you did not get a chance to read the article in advance, no harm, no foul. You'll catch yourself up over the course of the session. Initially, we work in group. I always provide an opportunity for journaling once we have shared the first levels of our wisdoms. So please bring to, you can do it by turning over the printout of the article that you made, by the way, or noting in the margins of the article that you printed out, but something to write with and something to write on. It can be an eyeliner pencil, it can be a lipstick, it can be a mirror, it can be a file on your computer, whatever it is that works for you so that we can capture the wisdom. Then I'm going to break us out into small groups. I'm going to give us a decent amount of time so that we can truly encounter each other and go deep. And then I am going to bring us all back together for what in my own vocabulary I call the wisdom dump. And we are going to decide collectively, we will share our collective wisdom about this subject, today's subject of miracles, what they are, how we see them, how they enrich our lives. And I'm also going to offer, this is new for this week and we'll see how it goes down, but I want to offer a Jewish practice that we can then take into the month. So that over the course of the month, we can plug ourselves back in to this wisdom, to this consciousness, and to the conversations that we've had this morning. Any question? Oh, there's another 6 people in the waiting room. I'm going to need to put the article in there again. Here we go. Wow, it's a big and beautiful group this morning. I am very happy about this. Clearly, word is spreading. And that is good. Welcome in, 6 new people. I just clicked into the room. I am going to, hang on a minute, I just need to quit Apple Music. It's driving me nuts. And I will put the Anne Lamott article into the chat again in just a moment. But first and importantly, we do record this part of the session. I just need to check that everybody is okay with that. If you want to take yourselves off camera, I see that some of you are off camera, then that works too. Please go ahead and do that. And know that the small rooms are not recorded. And therefore, I hope that you will be willing to show each other your faces when I put you into breakout groups. Okay? So, off we go, and off we go with the Blessing for Torah study. One of the things that we are doing in this session is creating and sharing new Torah, new wisdom, that we are in the process of creating to go into that big empty space in our culture where the wisdom around aging appears to kind of peter out. So I always start with the bracha for Torah study. And before I do that, please drop into the chat. Keep the chat open in these sessions. Chat is a parallel conversation to what we're doing in the big room. Please drop into the chat anybody, the name of anybody or a group of people to whom you would like to dedicate the merit of our learning this morning. Our tradition believes, and I believe too, that learning puts goodness out into the world. Learning is a mitzvah. So please, if you wish to dedicate for a happy reason or a sad reason to an individual or to a group of people, pop it in the chat and we'll take a moment to read the dedications before we say the blessing. Lovely. Lovely. Please keep them coming. Ah, what a lovely dedication, Gail. Roofers are very important people. Yeah, roofers and arborists as well. Very important people. Lovely, lovely. Thank you. Yes. Beautiful. Beautiful. I'm directing everybody to the chat to read the dedications. Lovely. Yep. Lovely. Just noticing what a big range of people we are holding in our thoughts. We have ancestors, we have friends, we have family, we have people we don't know. And one dedication, yes, to the finding of Nancy Guthrie. We lift up our prayers for that. So the blessing for Torah is like the blessing for any other mitzvah. So start as if you were lighting the Shabbat or the Hanukkah candles, but the words at the end are different. La'asok b'divrei Torah, to become engaged, to become involved in, for our purposes, matters of wisdom. The difference between teaching facilitating a class like this and teaching, say, a room of sixth graders is that I appreciate just how much wisdom is already in the room. So this is as much about finding and sourcing and sharing our wisdom with each other as it is about my facilitation. So please go ahead. No need to unmute because it makes Zoom soup, but please join me in the bracha for Torah and then we will finally begin. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah. Amen. Amen. And may our learning put sweetness and goodness out into the world. For those of you who were able to read the article, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and drop into the chat one sentence of the article that really hit home for you. I always do this, by the way. This is always. And if you did not get the article, and even if you did, let me just reintroduce what I believe is the central thesis of the article, which is that as we get older, our perception changes. And in particular, our perception of the miraculous, yes, our perception of the miraculous is one of the areas in which we are capable of enormous growth. Now, It is a known thing. Thank you, Larry, all in capitals. Yes. It is a known thing that that metacognition, as Arthur Brooks calls it, and he is one of the great teachers of aging Torah, the ability to step outside of our thought patterns and look at them and decide whether these are useful thoughts for us to be holding, is truly one of the gifts of aging. Yeah, so just noticing that we get along with ourselves better, and that age has given us time and intention, or is going to give us time and intention. The piece of Jewish wisdom that I want to mix into this session comes from the very beginning of this. Which is the lovely, lovely quote attributed to Albert Einstein, very timely. There are only two ways to live your life. One is as if nothing is a miracle. The other is as if everything is. And as Lawrence has just said in the chat, we can live seeing the miracles or we can ignore them. So the idea of developing a kind of superpower as we get older, a kind of sensitizing and a sensitivity to being able to see daily miracles, to live in a state of what Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel calls radical amazement, that's one of the true gifts of becoming wise. So that we can really see. So I don't know yet whether we are going to settle on that it's a shift in our vision, or that it's a shift in our ability to hear, or it's a shift in our ability to align ourselves, or it's an actual shift in our consciousness. We will talk about that, but re-navigating our relationship with miracle is a really central practice of aging, re-navigating our relationship with miracle. So I'm noticing the chat. I'm going to ask you now, I'm going to shift the cue. What was the most recent miracle that you noticed? Pop it into the chat. What miracle did you notice most recently? Mm-hmm. 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 Beautiful. Beautiful. Keep them coming. Do you see, just by naming them, we have created a shift? Notice, really focus your attention on the fact that after you have named your miracle, what is the shift inside yourself? How do you feel different? Yeah, the perception, the consciousness of miracle shifts our perception somehow. Centered, smiling. Another one that I often see is that if you're able to shift to perceive one, then other ones come rushing in. There's something about miracles that is plural. The kids in school sing a little song that goes, mitzvah goreret mitzvah. It's from Pirkei Avot. If you do one good thing, it drags along, it pulls along another good thing. And this is like that. Once you've shifted your consciousness to noticing one miracle, you notice more. Yeah? It's that stopping and making that shift that is such an important act of transformation. How beautiful. A baseball miracle. Yes, there are such things. There are such things. Good, good. Have the part of you that sits on your shoulder notice what is happening in your consciousness as you read the chat, as we collect together the miracles, as we share the miracles. I wonder how many of us see something in the chat and go, oh yeah, that's another one. Yeah? We're doing this exercise in multiplication. Lorraine, welcome. That's a little miracle in itself. And so, with all of this, now that we've made that shift, now that we've put ourselves in that place, I want to stir in, and I really do think of this as a kind of cooking activity. I want to stir in a new flavor. I want to stir in a beautiful piece of text from one of our teachers in the IKAR community. Just give me a little wave if you know or if you have ever met someone called Rabbi Mel Gottlieb. Yeah, he's often in the room. He's often in the room. He's a rabbi. He is, I believe he is getting towards 90, if not already there. He wrote last year a beautiful book about every Torah portion. And I want us to take a moment just to stop and read what he has to say. Hang on, let me make it bigger. Should have done that before. Apologies. He's writing about the ceremony of first fruits in the temple. Let me give you a moment to read it, and then I'm going to read it in case you can't see the screen. And please feel free to take a photograph of the screen. Okay. So, the pomp and ceremony of the ceremony of first fruits served a positive purpose. It gave the mitzvah the beauty and deep significance it deserved, the truth of newness, the God-given freshness of life, the renewal of the wonder of creation and its effulgence, produced every day by our Creator and the work of our hands. And then he quotes a line from the first blessing before the Shema. Hamachadesh betuvo b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh bereshit. The one, it's talking about God, the one who in their goodness renews every day continually the work of creation. The one who in their goodness every day renews continually the work of creation. This is the consciousness that should always be blooming, flourishing, arising, and flowing within our souls every day. So, in addition to the shift in perception, he is talking now about how we turn that into a practice. How do we ensure that we keep this consciousness of miracle not at the back of our minds when we're in a state of desperation, but as, look at the words he used, blooming, flourishing, arising, and flowing. It is classic Jewish mysticism language, the language that perceives the divine as a flow, a divine flow constantly pouring down into our lives. For those on the call, and I know there are some of you who have studied maybe a little bit of Jewish mysticism of Kabbalah, this is the idea that pours down through the Sephirot, the dimensions of consciousness. It's beautiful to imagine it as a flow of light. I particularly like to imagine it as a flow of honey. You know how when you dribble honey off a spoon, it kind of goes zigzaggy like that? So too, the flow of the divine into our lives. Adopt that if it's a helpful image for you. Blooming, flourishing, arising, and flowing. So we're moving from consciousness now to practice. I am going to invite us, I see lots and lots in the chat. I'm going to stop the share of the text, although I'll pop it into the chat in a minute. And I want to invite us now to take some minutes to journal. I will watch the windows and see how it's going. If you didn't get a chance to read the piece before, I'm going to pop the piece once more into the chat. Hello, strange things happening here. I'm going to pop the Anne Lamott piece once more into the chat. Here is your journaling prompt. Here is your journaling prompt. What helps the consciousness? No. Hang on a sec. I had it and then I lost it. Hold on a moment. How do I help myself stay conscious of renewal? I'm going to pop it in the chat. Become and stay conscious of renewal. Yeah, the practice of noticing the new. The practice of noticing the new. How do I stay in touch with the possibility that things can be new? Because those words that Rabbi Gottlieb just put in are understood throughout the Hasidic tradition as saying that we literally become new with every moment. We literally become new with every single breath we take. That one of the ways that the divine is made manifest in our lives is that it and we are constantly renewing. So your prompt. How do I renew? What are the things that help me renew? Everybody clear on the prompt? Good. People are nodding, people are writing. I'm going to go quiet so I don't interrupt your thoughts. Back soon. I'm just wanting to reiterate that the journaling part of the session is for you and just for you. Okay? The journaling does not get shared without you wishing it. Lovely. Just take a couple of minutes more. I'm going to stop us at 10 after. Lovely. Thank you, all of you. I can see that some of you are still writing. I'll invite you just to finish the thought that you're working on for now. And I can see that some of you are also done. So here is the next stage. Let me recap where we have been so far. Okay. We came into the session with the concept of miracle. We noted the most recent miracle that we saw. And now, in order to develop that consciousness into more of a practice, more of something that will nourish and feed us as an aspect of our aging, we're exploring the ways, the many, many ways that we are capable of renewing ourselves. Again, I'm reminding us that the prayer book has this idea that we don't have to do all of the work on our own, that the divine is sending down a kind of flow, a kind of energy that is going to help us with our renewal in each and every moment, and to live in a way in which we really deeply know that every moment is new, that every single breath is a new beginning. Okay, so far? Good. So what I am going to do now is to send us into breakout rooms. I am in the process of creating them. My hope is that I'll be able to manage 3 or 4 participants in a room. Hang on, let me just see if I can get it down to 3. The idea, first of all, let me ask you to share the time between each other. I'm just doing a quick check to make sure that if I have spouses who are in different windows, I'm not putting you in the room with each other. I will invite you to unmute. I will invite you to introduce yourselves to each other. And then I'm going to give you, each of you can pick either of these prompts for discussion. One is what renews me? Hang on. That's one. And the second one is what is miraculous to me? Okay, and I'd like you to move from that sharing towards, and why is that so important as I age? Okay, what renews me? What is miraculous to me? And why is that so important as I age? Okay. I'm also inviting us to share if we have practices of our own that we find helpful in putting us in touch with what renews us, what is miraculous to us, and understanding why that is so important as we get older. All right? I am going to give us 30 minutes in breakout rooms. Now, that tends to raise eyebrows when I first say it, but trust me, it works. It gives you an opportunity properly to get to know each other and properly to go deep. So 30 minutes, and then the automatic Zoom thing will tell you when you have a minute to go. Okay, you're in groups of 3 or of 4. Let me just do a double check here. Hold on. Sorry, I'm just fiddling with the assignments to make sure of the best conversations. Okay, and we are ready to go. Enjoy your time with each other, and I will see you in 30 minutes.
care. Bye. Bye. And I love to Miriam, she says, you become very, very popular with her.
Okay, so the main computer camera doesn't seem to be working.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. And while it is fresh in your minds, I am going to ask you to share. We're still a very big room, so please forgive that the share is by way of chat and not by way of talking. But please, if you wish, pop into the chat in the knowledge that there is no stealing, there is only sharing when it comes to this kind of thing. Did I learn or have I consolidated for myself a practice that is going to help me feel in touch with that sense of renewal? Have I learned about a new habit that I can incorporate in my life between these meetings that is going to keep me in touch with that sense of renewal? And if so, please share what it is. Yeah, and please also feel free. I love this Zoom courtesy. Thank your breakout room participants. Lovely. What did we learn? Okay, one practice is living in the present. Mindfulness and meditation. Good. Seeing the new as a kindness to ourselves. I love that. I love that. And Gail, rethinking our concept of what is a miracle. Yeah, I think that is such an important shift. Yeah, I stepped into the kitchen to top up on coffee while you were studying together. And we have guests here at the moment. And one of them is a rabbi I was at school with. And he said, "Oh, the thing about miracles is that they're in front of us all the time. We just don't see them." Yeah. So part of our wisdom part of our wisdom is finding ways to ensure that we see them. Yes. Walking slowly, yes. Oh, Jan, I love that. Yeah, when we slow down our walking, stuff happens. Yeah, lovely. Notice the extraordinary in the ordinary. Thank you, Nancy. You have such no, that was Natalie. Sorry, I mixed up Natalie and Nancy. My apologies. That's a beautiful way of putting it. Yeah, here is an ordinary thing. Yeah, there's a wonderful Billy Collins poem about this, about the milk in the jug and the cereal in the bowl. Um, it's got morning, meaning AM, in the title somewhere, and just the joy of ordinary things and the wisdom of shifting our focus so that we really see them, so that we really appreciate them and name them for the miracles that they are. That's great. Lovely. Oh, walking outdoors with a 3-year-old. Oh, Sally, yes, they are our teachers. Yeah. And Ellen, thank you. Knowing that there is a community. Yeah, notice your hand, love. Love. One of my go-tos is to look up and see the way that branches create openings in the sky that I didn't notice before. That's a go-to for me when I need a reset. Yeah, lovely, lovely. Thank you all so much. I'm going to take it one step further. Okay. This is, please go ahead and adopt it if you would like it, and please not if not. Give me a wave if you have heard of what gets called the bathroom blessing. Yeah? A few of us, the bathroom blessing. Yeah? There is, in the immortal words of Fiddler on the Roof, there is a blessing for everything. And within our tradition, from a very, very early time, part of the routine of how a Jewish person wakes up in the morning is to notice and give thanks that our body is working. Yeah. And I want to just offer this in case it is another practice that you want to add to your toolbox. Really simple practice. Take a photo of the screen I'm about to share and stick it up in your bathroom where you can see it. And see what happens. This might be one that you love, this might be one that you don't love, this might be, but it's just such a very, very tangible way of giving thanks for the miracle of the body. Jane, I see that you have a practice for it. Cantor Sherry, thank you. Anything that you can sing is automatically better than anything that you say, I think. And I have 2 translations of it that I'm gonna share just now. So here it is. In Hebrew, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, and then quite a lot of Hebrew after it. Asher yatzar et ha'adam b'chokhma u'vara bo nekavim nekavim chalulim chalulim. Galui v'yadua lifnei chisei kvodecha אשר מפתח אחד מהם או יסתם אחד מהם אפשר להתקיים ולעמוד לפניך אפילו שעה אחת ברוך אתה אדוני עורפי כל בשר ומפליא לעשות. I learned it without this אפילו שעה אחת piece. I wonder if that is Sephardi rather than Ashkenazi, but here is the translation. Yeah, and saying it in translation is absolutely fine. It is a given that we say brachot in a language that we understand. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, traditional translation, first ruler of the universe, who formed humankind with wisdom and created within us many openings and many hollow spaces. Pause. I think this is how the bracha came to be associated with the first time we go to the bathroom in the morning. Yeah, that things that need to open are opening and things that need to stay closed are staying closed. It is obvious and known before your throne of honor that if even one of them would be opened or if even one of them would be sealed, meaning if an open thing, if something's supposed to be open closed or something that was supposed to be closed opened, it would be impossible to survive and to stand before you even for 1 hour. Blessed are you, Adonai, I love the end of this bracha, who heals all flesh and acts wondrously. Yeah, orfei kol basar umafli la'asot. A couple of points that I want to pick up before I share the alternative translation. At least in English, the throne is a colloquialism for the toilet. In Hebrew too, the bath room is called bet hakisei, literally the house of the throne, or the house of the chairs. So I love that there is a semi-explicit, semi-implicit actual bathroom reference in this bracha. Our rabbis were very pragmatic about these things. The second thing is this word here that I just highlighted, the end of the bracha, the sealing, they call it the seal of the bracha. Rofei kol basar, healer of all flesh, again, very physical. Umafli la'asot, that's a miracle word. Nifla, wonder, miracle, amazement. It's all packed in to that verb, that we acknowledge the creation of amazement right at the beginning of our day in something that is incredibly mundane. Although, goodness knows, we notice when it doesn't work. We really do. Here is Rabbi Ruth Adar, and if you like this one and want to stick this one up in the bathroom. Thank God it all works. No, thank God enough works. For all our science and all our technology, these bodies you have made in your wisdom are wrapped in mystery, rooms within rooms. Openings and closings all work so wonderfully that we only notice when they don't. We are able to stand or sit before you, our Creator, because enough works today. Blessed are you, eternal our God, ruler of time and space, who heals our flesh and continues doing wonders. I think it's an absolutely masterful translation of this blessing. Just glorious. I do not know Rabbi Ruth Adar. I would love to know Rabbi Ruth Adar. But if this speaks to you again, please, I'm going to pop. I'll pop all the text in the chat now as well. Boop. There we go. But please, if you want to adopt this as a practice of renewal, it works incredibly, incredibly well, because sometimes, however much we want to be able to stay in that consciousness of miracle, something gets stuck for us. This is a practice that unsticks our consciousness of miracle. So I offer it. Did it make its way into the chat? I hope it did. So I offer it with thanks. And let me just finish this session by asking each of us, we have 3 whole minutes left. You can do a lot with 3 minutes. If you have a particular gratitude that you would like to offer, please put up a Zoom hand or go ahead and unmute, and we will share gratitude to finish out this session. Feel free. Anybody?
Grateful for this group.
Lovely. I'm grateful that it is coming together as a group as well. I think it is so important that as we make this complicated journey, we have companionship along the way. Yeah. If nothing else, if you take nothing else from this session, just know that there are so many people in our community who are at this stage and at this age and having this conversation. Lovely. Lovely. Gratitude's arriving in the chat as well. As someone mentioned in Morning Minion, we often invite people to drop gratitudes into the chat. Next meeting is next month, so I'm going to guess that because of the coincidence of March and April, we do one of March and February, by the way. I'm going to guess that we're next meeting on the 8th of March. We are. We are next meeting on the 8th of March, and I'm going to warn you now, and I will warn you again. It's Daylight Saving Time Day that day, so we're all going to be coming into the room an hour earlier. I will do my very best to remember to remind you of that next time. Thank you. Thank you for these lovely, lovely gratitudes. We're at time. I'm going to invite us, everybody please unmute, okay? At least once in the session, I want us to hear each other's voices. Yeah, so please unmute, everybody unmute, and we can just say goodbye to each other. Bless each other out with gratitude.
Goodbye.
Everybody.
Thank
And a good
you.
month.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Have a
you.
blessed
Thank
month.
you.
Oh,
Bye.
Thank
thank you,
you.
Enjoy
Aviva.
the
Thank you
beautiful
so
day.
Be
much.
well,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Bye. You try.
Bye.
Thank you,
Have a
Ellen.
good month.
Thank you.
Have a really good month.
Bye.
And I'll see you soon. Thank you for going on this journey with me. We'll see each other soon.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi.